And I told her, I don't care if he is her husband. Right now.
It's time to rise from the grave. Pour yourself a cup and enjoy the coffee crypt.
Good morning.
Morning.
Welcome back to the Coffee Crypt.
Hi, everyone. How you doing, Angel?
Oh, you know, living the dream, I guess.
That's good. Now, which dream that is? As long as it's not a nightmare.
Yeah, not some days. No. Yeah, finally, like really getting into been doing my October 1st watches, and yesterday we went to all of us went to do like one of those like farm places. So normally I just me and my son go to this like place we normally go to, and they just do pumpkins. It's very simple. You just pick out your pumpkins, you just go and you pay for them and you're done. And so this year, my partner and I took all of our kids to this really cute little farm that's not too far from where she lives. And they had like a corn maze that took forever. And animals to feed, and we did a tractor ride, and we got to do s'mores, and we did pumpkins. It was like a whole thing.
Oh, that sounds so fun.
Oh my God, it was so fun. The kids had such a great time. And yeah, so meaningful, of course. Like aside from just being fun, it was super meaningful, and just the kids like interacting and stuff was really cool. But it was so much fun. And then Oliver, my 5-year-old, is the one that like got us out of the maze.
Little genius on your hands.
Yeah, I mean, it was technically a group effort, but he was the one that made the last call in the last turn because we kept going out the entrance, and we were like, "Dang!" And so we'd go all the way. Anyway, but it was super fun. How have you been?
It's so fun. Yeah, Andy, good. Andy can't do anything quite like that yet. But our Halloween costumes came in. So that's gonna be a blast. I'm gonna wear mine for our Halloween live.
Cool.
And then, yeah, I think, as far as doing something with the family, we're going to have our best friend just had a baby. She's too little to do anything. So I think we're just going to kind of come over, hang out. We'll bring out, we'll hand out candy. And then maybe just put on something on TV. But we were thinking of taking him, Andy. He's walking now.
Yes, so I've been seeing the videos.
Yeah. So we might just take him to a pumpkin patch.
That'll be so cute, though.
And just let him like walk around and like hop on the pumpkins.
That's what we did when Oliver was that little. Well, that's what I did when Oliver was that little. I just took him to walk around. I mean, it was like he had the best time, though.
Yeah.
Especially because depending on which ones you go to, sometimes they have the ones that have like the bumps and they're weird looking. And he's like, wait a second, anyway, it was a sensory
experience for the kids, It's
yes.
Colors, textures, smells, right?
It's just a whole different experience and a bunch of the same thing all over the place. It's like, what is this?
Yeah. All of his like little like YouTube things that we have on in the background, like they'll talk like his Miss Rachel, I'm sure. And if any parents watching know Miss Rachel, she's on YouTube. She's a big deal in this house, and she has a couple of Halloween like episodes that she did. And she's like, on this time of the year, we go to the pumpkin patch.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's gonna recognize it, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, it's fun, and it's like I wasn't in a rush to get to the trick-or-treating stuff. I really enjoyed just having like his second year trick-or-treating, or I mean his second year for Halloween, like what I'm trying to say. We had it was COVID, so we had people come. We just had a few close friends come over and watch, children appropriate like things, and we did candy dishes and stuff like that. But it was really just more of like a hangout thing. And then he really didn't get to go trick-or-treating until he was like 3.5 for the first time. So
yeah. Well, I remember trick-or-treating getting a big pause in 2001 after we all know what happened in September. And there was that whole big like anthrax like hullabaloo that everyone thought watch out, it became like the new like razor blades and apples sort of thing.
Yes.
And I remember just like my parents being like, yep, you're not going out for the next couple of years.
Yeah, and then after that we were too old.
And by that point, well, I was still a teenager. We were little hooligans.
Oh, see, I stopped going before high school. But I
Mm,
think it's honestly, though, if I'm being totally honest with you, it's because of the way parents treated me. That's why I stopped
yeah.
going. Because even in middle school, which I think is more than appropriate for middle school and even high school kids to still
Yeah.
do this, which I think we actually talked about on the last episode, but
I
like
think we did. Yeah.
parents were really mean to me about the fact that I was still going trick or treating, and I hated it. It made it so unfun, and so I just didn't go anymore.
It sucks. It sucks. I mean, why end childhood earlier than you have to?
Yeah, stop trying to make everybody be grown-ups and miserable like the rest of us. Cut it out. Like,
No, I mean, even like teenagers, like it's like they're not. If you're going out with your friends, just being goofy, trick or treating. I mean, why isn't that like worse than like going out and like throwing
causing
nair eggs
problems.
at people or whatever little craps would do.
Yeah, I mean, I think as long as they're, I mean, I want a little effort, but like one of the first, well, since Oliver's been old enough, I take him trick or treating. But the year before was the first Halloween before the one that we went out with him. Was they had there were teenagers that came around, and they were in their like high school football uniforms. But so what? They still tried. They put smudges on their face. Like, who
Hmm.
cares?
Yeah,
Just think, but I stopped going because parents were mean to me, and so I just was like, I'm not doing it anymore.
no, I'm going to encourage Andy. Go be a
Hmm.
kid. Trick or treat. Well past middle school if you want to.
Yeah,
We'll see what he
yeah.
wants. I'm not going to force him.
Well, no, sure, yeah. Well, and I think my partner's kids are going to go with us this year, and they haven't been in a while either because
Oh, that's cute.
for different reasons. But
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they'll get to go with us this time. And the place we went last year we're going to the same neighborhood. But I had to empty Oliver's bag 3 times.
Wow.
Like
Ooh.
I'm gonna have to take a trash bag this time because last time it was like, what do we do with all this? Like it was, but it was. I mean, of course, he doesn't get giant buckets because he's little. So not that his containers are giant, but still, it was like a decent size, and I had to empty it
Yeah.
multiple times.
Wow.
It got so heavy at one point it broke the handle off of his thing that he was carrying.
We're
So
gonna have to fly down to you for trick or treating.
I know, like it was great, and everybody decorated. They had like king size candy bars for the adults. Like it was a great. We're definitely going to the same place this year.
That's awesome. That is
Definitely.
awesome. Yeah, we have such a small because we're on like kind of like a cul-de-sac sort of, so there's not a lot of houses, so it's really not.
Yeah.
We don't really get a lot of trick or treaters.
Oh, I hate it. That sucks.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be different, I think, if we were more like in town, like kind of more downtown. But yeah, no, by us, it's so quiet.
Yeah. I didn't leave anything out here because I got the impression based on it being like a townhouse, like village is the word I was going to say. That's not right, but where it's literally just a strip of townhouses,
Yeah.
not like it's like a townhouse complex, I guess. I don't really think there's a lot of kids that come down this way. And
Do you have an HOA?
we do.
So I know sometimes HOAs can be a little weird when it comes to trick or treating and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, so I haven't left anything out. So, but because we always just go, I mean, it's I'm out doing trick or treating now. So
Yeah. No, you're going out having fun. That's when he's older on his own. Then you're kind of at home, like, where are the kids?
come hang out. Yeah, come make some candy and
Come get some
let me see
candy.
your cute costumes. Yeah. So
But I know we got a few things to talk about.
yeah. Yeah. So jumping into our trailer segment, we got a trailer for Night Swim, which is what James Wan and Blumhouse, right? Which is so interesting. And I know this is such a dumb thing to say, but this was at the beginning of the trailer, so it's like fresh in my mind. It's like James Wan from the nun or whatever. And we know who James Wan.
They always put the newest movie on.
The newest. So yeah, so it said The Nun 2. And then Blumhouse, I forget what the movie was. We know who that is. Like
I think
watching
Megan, maybe they might
Megan. It was
Yeah.
Megan. It was like, but it's like we know who these people are. Anybody watching these horror trailers, we know. Like we know who these people are.
Even like the non like horror like aficionados.
People know. I just thought that was such a silly way to put the intro. We know who they are. You don't need to put the movies. Anyway, yeah, so this looks like something that shouldn't be a full-length featured film. So I'm very curious where this is going to go. It looks cool in concept. So I don't know if we've talked about my fear of water, but I'm very afraid of water. And swimming pools have always made me super uncomfortable. Water in general makes me uncomfortable. But when I used to go swimming at nights, like my best friend had a pool growing up, I had a pool growing up, and we go swimming at night. I was always never happy and comfortable in there. Like I wanted to be having a good time, but I was like, there's something in here. Like like sometimes I thought it was sharks. Like, I just always thought there was like something going on. So this is playing on some childhood fear stuff.
And you can't see the bottom of where you're swimming, right?
Because it's dark. Creepy, the light in the pool in the trailer going out. I'm like, I'm not swimming in no pool with no light on. And of course, she's playing a game of Marco Polo with someone, and I kept waiting on that moment of like this thing is gonna say it back, and then it finally did, and it just it doesn't give too much away. It's a very typical setup. You've got the sad family in the car riding to the new place, and like all of that very poltergeist. It's like very similar stuff to things we've seen before. But yeah, I don't know. I'm curious how they're going to turn this into a full movie. Is really my only thing, because like if that happens, like just don't go back in the water, right? Like it seems like a pretty cut and dry. You fill the pool, you move on with your life. But anyway, so what did you think of this trailer?
Yeah, no, I mean, I love trailers like this where it's just kind of one long tense scene, because then you tend to not be giving away too much. If you just focus on one scene of the movie, you're not going to show obviously the whole movie, but you're then able to show the vibe. I liked it. I liked with the lights turning on and off, and then I don't know. I mean, it does feel like very much like a short movie premise. But then I was kind of looking, but I was looking at like the story behind it, right? So it looks like the father, the husband is a former like baseball player, and he has a degenerative illness, and he thinks the pool would just be helpful in like physical therapy. So I feel like there's an opportunity here to like, just kind of explore like disabilities and people's emotions when they're dealing with these sorts of illnesses. And, I'd be curious to see a lot of that more family drama element.
Yeah.
And how that plays in. But as far as like, does someone go missing in the pool? Is it become a missing story? They didn't quite show, it felt like there was a mass in the pool. Like, is there an entity?
Yes.
But then you really couldn't see it, which I appreciated.
Yes. Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Are we getting like a creature feature? Are we getting something a little more paranormal? I would be kind of happy if this turned out to be a creature feature.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't know how I would feel if it was a creature. I think so much of it just depends on the story and their ability to stretch it out, and that's regardless of the direction it goes, as far as like if it's just a haunted pool or if it's like because it just felt, a lot of it felt really familiar. And so it's like, I want it to be something unique, which I think, like you were saying, I think if they do the creature feature, that would make it a little bit more unique. But it reminds me, isn't there an Are You Afraid of the Dark episode about a pool?
I think so. I can't
remember. And that's not a complaint by any stretch of the imagination. Love Are You Afraid of the Dark? But I'm pretty sure there is. And then, so that was kind of where my head was like, okay, I remember that, but that's what, a 23-minute episode or something. That's not like a full length. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I mean, movies that I felt this way about based on a trailer definitely surprised me and ended up being really great full length, feature films that really were great. But it just, that's the only thing I think I'm a little nervous about, is the concept being stretched across like a 2-hour time frame.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hour and a half, maybe. I feel like if this is like a sharp 90-minute movie.
Yeah, where like the first 30 minutes is them getting to the house and setting up the story, and then you get like the last, the last 2/3 of it, or the stuff going on, then that'd be.
Yeah. 2 hours I think would be too long. I can't see it being longer.
I would hope. Yeah, I think you're right. And then of course, the more you stretch it, the less effective it is too. So sometimes short and sweet is good.
I think so. But when are we? So some confusion on when we're getting this, because it's not listed on the trailer or on the YouTube page, but IMDb has it at January 5th. January is used to be notorious for dumping ground horror, like just kind of like not so good stuff goes there, but we've
Mhm.
had some surprises. Megan was January.
Scream was January. Scream
Scream was
5 was
January.
January,
Yeah.
rather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I just think people are finding out because like it's that post-holiday, people don't have a lot to do anymore. They're kind of just like not in the mood to go out. It's cold, you know, you could do
Yeah.
something kind of low-key indoors. So I think, you know, so maybe it's January 5th. We'll see if IMDb is right. They usually are. But
Yeah. Unless there's like last minute changes for some reason.
mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, me too. Probably. It won't be something I'll pay to go see, but I'll watch it at home.
Oh, I have my AMC A list, so it might be one of my one of my 3 choices of that week.
Yeah.
But yeah, so our next movie is Dr. Jekyll, which is going to be in theaters. I think it's a limited release, October 27th.
Yeah.
Starring Eddie Izzard. Does she go by Eddie as well?
Yeah. I don't think that's changed yet.
Okay.
I just watched an interview not that long ago, and I don't think it's changed yet.
Yeah, so it follows Eddie Izzard playing this woman. She's kind of reclusive. She lives in this like big mansion. It feels like it's a modern spin on this like Dr. Jekyll story. And this young boy takes a job working for her in this mansion, and this kind of play on like where they say that she hasn't really taken much interest in her staff since this new employee has started. And it feels like a little like, you know, there's scenes where like they're playing chess, and it feels almost like a game of wits between the two. And then we get hints of like kind of that classic Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde sort of. I think they revealed the Hyde.
They did for like a second.
For like a second. Which I almost wish they didn't.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been a nice surprise. I mean, we knew it was coming.
Yeah, but to hold off on it.
Hold off on it, right? Like surprise us. But I mean, I'm sure seeing like her full performance as these two sort of individuals will be interesting. I mean, there's a whole well, what's interesting is I think they're going to be playing on the mental health side of things, right? Because it doesn't seem like it's going to be like a science fiction Dr. Jekyll.
Yeah,
Mr.
I didn't
Hyde.
get that impression either.
It's more. It feels like it's going to be a dissociative identity sort of movie, which I tend to. I'm weary when movies tackle dissociative identity because
because they don't typically handle them appropriately.
They don't handle them well. They tend to villainize the person, which, you know, someone with a mental illness sure can be flawed, sure. Right? I mean, but it shouldn't be made because of the mental, right? Not everyone with dissociative identity is going to be a bad person, right?
Yeah.
So I'll be curious how they explore it. I'm hoping for something good. I don't know. I'm a little nervous. What do you think?
Well, I was really excited about it when I first saw that it was announced because I'm a huge fan of hers from the comedian side of things. Like I've been watching her stand up for years and years and years and years. And so it was like, oh, like, and I don't know if she's done other stuff acting wise. I have no idea.
I remember her, wasn't she in did you ever see Across the Universe, the Beatles musical?
Oh, you're right.
She was in that.
She was in that. I love that one, by the way.
That's
right. So, but not like a huge, I don't like, there's not a lot of exposure for like her and like movies and stuff like that. So I was really excited about this. You know, the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde has been around and has been redone like a gajillion times. Like, I mean, there's even a whole bit about it in the Page Master, right? Like there's so many versions and stories and takes on it. And I really love, this feels like it's going to be unique. I think that it felt very, you know, and I guess we'll see, right? Because we don't really know the angle it's going to play, like what you were just talking about. But it feels like it's going to be kind of lighter. Like it feels like it's going to be more of like a fun horror and not something that's going to be like crazy deep and heavy and sad and all these other things. So that's kind of exciting. It looks like, I mean, I think it looks like it's going to be a unique take, and I think it's going to be kind of a fun, more like lighthearted take on that story, which I think, I'm excited about. I probably, this is another one. I know this one was the, would you say this was the limited? This is a limited release.
I think this is going to be limited. I don't see this being a wide release movie.
No, so it'll definitely be something I watch when it's on rent or whatever. But it was, it's one that I am kind of excited to check out and see what they do for sure.
Yep. Yeah. What else? Oh, and it's a Hammer horror movie, right? People are very excited about that too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I saw it said like one of the, I guess the little blurbs or whatever was like back to the gory days or however it was worded for them for the I forget exactly how it was worded, but saying that it was like
heyday of Hammer or something.
Yeah, whatever it was. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I have a lot of faith in the casting choices alone. So yeah, I think it's going to be fun. Yeah.
All right.
So the next one we talked about when it was announced, and so now we have like the cutest little trailer for the Lego Jurassic Park movie short, whatever you want to call it, that's going to be coming out on Peacock October 10th. It's so, first of all, this is so cute. So cute.
It's adorable.
So cute. First of all, I think I told you this the last time we talked about it. I love the Lego movies, all of them. I love the Lego video games. Like I'm here for Lego everything. But when it was like, so it's called like the unofficial retelling, and it comes across like it's being narrated as the story of like what happened on the island as this like real thing. And it's so cute when they're doing that, like it hits all the like big scenes. So like the T-Rex, the Dilophosaurus spraying, like all the big scenes. And so when he throws a Lego out of the Jeep and the T-Rex steps on it, I died. I was like, oh my God. When he builds, when the lawyer
that made me laugh. The lawyer building the bathroom.
When he built the bathroom, I was like, oh, when you gotta go, you gotta go. But he like built it. Like I was like, where is he going? And I'm like, what is he doing? And then it's like it finally stacks up. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's so funny. I love that it's like a retelling, but from like Ian Malcolm's perspective.
It's gonna be so freaking cute. It's gonna be like an hour long, right? It's not even that long.
It might not even be an hour. It might be like a half hour.
It's gonna be so cute. But this trailer just got me like so excited. I mean, this is something I'm gonna be excited about, but I can share this. Like I know O is gonna be so pumped about it. He loves Jurassic Park, the original specifically. Like he will say, "Can I watch the Jurassic Park one with the Jeeps?" And I'm like, "Yes, the Jeeps." So that'll be one we definitely watch. I'm very excited about it. It looks like it's going to be so cute.
Yeah, real soon too, right? Was that October 10th?
A couple days from now.
Yeah.
This week coming up, yeah.
Yeah, I guess October is a good month for it. It's funny enough; it almost does feel like because I feel like they've done like Thanksgiving break specials, sort of like.
Yeah.
Whether it was like on Disney Plus or Peacock, hey, I'll take it earlier. I don't care.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. But I know what you mean, though. Yeah.
It feels like something like a special that they could have done, like for a holiday.
It does feel like a weird time. Not that I would ever argue that Jurassic Park's not horror because it is, but I feel like it is a weird time. But I don't know. Maybe it's because everybody's so into watching stuff this time of year, specifically as we go through the next couple of months in general. But yeah, oh my God. I can't wait to watch it. It's gonna be so freaking cute.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to check it out. Honestly, it's probably going to even be something like because my husband, my son's not really into cartoons yet. No, he likes real people, but I'm gonna just put it on, see if he'll be into it.
See what he thinks. Yeah,
because it reminds me sort of like all the golden books I'm getting now because like I want him to get into like stuff like Star Wars or
I have the Universal Monsters golden books.
Universal Monsters, like they have those. Like there's ones like the Haunted Mansion ride has a golden books. Like just things I want to get like introduce him to, but he's maybe not quite ready for like the movie versions of stuff.
Sure.
Like there's a Jaws one I think we bought. There's a Jaws one and there's like a Ghostbusters one.
Oh my God, that's
a whole bunch of stuff like that. So like it kind of reminds me of that. It's like a nice way to introduce him early to like the dinosaurs.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be. I'll be curious to see if he thinks it's cool.
If he's kind of paying attention. I mean, we'll see.
Sure.
Well, I think when he gets closer to 2, I think it'll be probably the sweet spot to start like playing things like that for him. But we'll see.
Yeah.
But our next trailer is for It's a Wonderful Knife, which is a horror pun on It's a Wonderful Life, kind of the classic, like, what would my life be without me sort of thing. And it's a girl who has survived this Christmas Eve massacre. Her life kind of doesn't go well afterwards, so she kind of makes this sort of like wish ponderance of like, what if I didn't exist? And so she is kind of shown this world where, because she didn't exist, this like killer has free reign and things end up worse. It's written by Michael Kennedy, who did Freaky with Vince Vaughn. And I forgot what else Michael Kennedy did.
Oh yeah, there was another one. There was another big one. Freaky and
he did Totally
The Last Black Christmas.
Did he do Black Christmas?
There, I think it's the last one, like the 2009.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to look.
That's what it said in the trailer.
Oh, okay. Well, I know.
It said from the people who did Black Christmas and Freaky. That's what it said.
Oh, okay. Well, but he didn't write that one. Maybe he produced it or something.
Yeah, or maybe it was just teaming or grouping people together for two different things. But that was what it says in the trailers.
Yeah. But anywho, it looks really fun. I love the killer costume in this, kind of the White Angel. It looks really badass.
What does it remind you of? Did it make you feel any kind of way about something, and maybe from before now? No?
From before now? What?
This gave me Scream vibes.
Scream?
Yeah, it made me think of Scream, because there's like this whole thing about like survival and like because so the reason that she survives, she's actually the one that kills the killer and then she's like, everyone forgets about it, like nobody is like cares about this anymore, and she's like treated weird, and then that's when she does the wish on the bridge thing. And but it made me feel like it reminded me so much of Scream, because there's these scenes in the trailer where it's like just like some of the chase scenes, I don't know, like there's just an energy about it that made me think of Scream. Like, I mean, I know that the mask and stuff is obviously different, but it's like this big robed masked figure like going around. I don't know. And it's a slasher. So that's what it reminded me of. It made me think of Scream.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I can totally see that. I mean, I love the sense of humor. Like, you have people like Joel McHale and like Justin Long. Justin Long looks ridiculous in this movie.
You know, it had me questioning if it was him.
Oh,
I kept
whatever
thinking,
the
I was like, oh,
prosthetics
that's gotta be him. And then I went to look and I was like, okay, it is Justin Long.
Yeah. Well, I think we find out that he's the killer, right?
In the opening, it's gotta be like the first few minutes of the movie when we find that out, because when she kills him, she like takes the mask off and she's like, oh my God.
So it's fun. It's funny knowing now going into this who the killer is ahead of time. Unless the timeline changed.
Oh, I don't know. Because all it shows us is her reacting to seeing him as the mayor. She's like, like,
oh wait, I thought they unmasked him.
But it doesn't actually show for sure if it's just him.
Okay. I thought they unmasked him in the trailer.
They do in the beginning. I'm talking about when she comes back.
Gotcha. Right. Yeah. No, I was gonna say, like, I'm curious, like, because if it's like a timey-wimey sort of thing, if like her not existing kind of had a butterfly effect, and maybe the killer is different this time. Because
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it does. Because it doesn't tell us if it's 100% him the second time around. Yeah. I think this one looks like a lot of fun too. I never saw Freaky. I don't know why. I think it just never appealed to me.
I held off on it, but I ended up really enjoying it. Again, I know it leans more into the comedy, which I know you're not crazy about, but it is fun. Just sort of the antics of like a serial killer being in like the 17-year-old girl's body, like, and her being in his, and it's kind of like it's got some fun antics in that sense. And it's tonally, it reminded me of oh my God, what's the other one? Final Girls. Maybe I'm thinking.
Oh, I don't know. I was also thinking of Happy Death Day.
Happy Death Day, yes, that's very tonally similar to that.
Oh, I love that one. I need to see the sequel. I have not seen it.
It's fun. It goes more sci-fi.
I loved the first one though. Like, I had so much fun. I really, 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 really liked that one.
They've been like, the creators have been saying like they would like to do a third one, but I don't know.
I know. I think we've been hearing that for a while though, right? And then they haven't done anything yet.
They just never got a green light, or who knows. maybe now that the strikes are over, other things are going to start moving forward again.
Yeah, the first Happy Death Day was really, really good, and that's what I was thinking when I was watching this. Just because I haven't seen that the Black Christmas I was talking about, and I haven't seen Freaky, so I was like, well, I don't know what to, but that's what it made me kind of think of.
Yeah, I would love to see, if we're gonna take like classic Christmas stories, I would love, and I mean, we've had a horror Grinch. I wouldn't like to see maybe another horror take at, because we've had like dark versions of Scrooge, but I would love almost like a Ghost of Christmas Past, Present, Future story.
Yeah,
but maybe a little more horror. I don't know. I think we need more holiday horror. I mean, we're getting Thanksgiving, so that's exciting.
Well, and I will tell you, Christmas horror specifically has got such a special place in my heart. I absolutely love Christmas horror movies. Like that to me is the time to be fun with horror, is like Christmas horror, because it's like it's supposed to be this like joyous holiday, and we're like, let's just ruin it, right?
I love that contradiction.
I love Christmas horror. Like, I have specific ones that I watch every year now, that like obviously Gremlins, but like there's another one called Puka, which is what I call my son. Like there was another, what's the other really? Oh, Krampus. I loved Krampus. Yep. Krampus was so good. I always watch the original Black Christmas, but like, so like horror Christmas stuff is like right up my alley. And It's a Wonderful Life is a Christmas movie I watched every Christmas on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day with my mom every year growing up. It's like a staple for Christmas time, and so when I saw, I think this is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is November 10th in theaters.
Okay.
Although I think it might be a limited release. Not sure.
Did it say? I was going to say, did it say if it was going to be a limited one?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why I'm thinking limited release, but if it is, then that just means it'll be streaming even faster.
That's true. That's fair. So especially because if it's a November release, and then December's right after. So
yeah, they're going to want it streaming for the holiday season, probably.
Yeah, fair enough.
But that brings us over to our news and trending.
So this is the announcement of a movie called The Dire Wolf, which is going to be a supernatural horror film. But okay, so I'm going to be honest, it's probably just going to be downright disrespectful if I even try to pronounce this name, unless you happen to know the director's name or how to pronounce it.
I think it's Andrzej Bartkowiak.
I'm not sure. But he did Doom and Romeo Must Die. Those are the other two. So the biggest thing the little summary it has is the film tells the story of Hank Whitmore, a sharp and stubborn New Mexican sheriff who aligns with the Navajo Nation when a series of supernatural events threatens his family, his town, and his way of life. The biggest thing with this was that they talked about in the article, about this, The Dire Wolf, was this concept of how, kind of westernized these like Native American stories often are in terms of spirituality, in terms of animals, in terms of all of these things. And so this is going to be a much more non-westernized version of these stories, which is where, the Navajo Nation comes into play. So, which is actually really thrilling to me, because a lot of lore-based things that I love are the roots are Native American. And oftentimes, as like one of the biggest cases of this is like the stories of what we know of like the Wendigo. So much of that has been whitewashed and westernized and retold a million times. And none of it is based off the roots or where this came from. And so I'm very excited to see something that's going to come from lore that I have a lot of respect and interest for. And it's going to be more true to that and not just this, American retelling of a story that we have no business telling. So very, very excited about that. I have a thing about anything wolf related, I'm here for. And I love stuff with like animals and it's very vague so far on like what the story is actually going to be about. But but that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. But.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This whole the idea of like we westernize or we whitewash a lot of
Ugh,
stuff. I mean, it just
so much.
continues like the crap that the Native American community has been put through in this country. But and I would say, because it's interesting that the story comes out now about this picture, because I'm excited for this movie coming out. Not about this one in particular, but there's the Scorsese movie coming out, Killing of the Flower Moon. And it's
Oh.
about sort of like the oil industry and sort of like the Native American land. But it's like we tell these stories, but they're from the white man perspective.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, and I get it. It's about like these white folks kind of coming in and marrying Native American. I mean, there is a blending of families there. So of course you're going to have white characters and it's what have you. But, we tend to put it from a white perspective, and that's not fair. I mean, we just got off the heels of It Lives Inside, which again is a cultural horror film, not Native American.
One, but yeah.
But no, I was gonna say it's not Native American, but like we need more stories like that really dive into kind of these cultural myths and legends, and
where we're not just making up whatever we want and tacking it onto something that has stories already or lore behind it already, because that's what happens with a lot of it. It's stuff like we just make things up, and then we just say, oh, this is what happened. It's like, no, it isn't. Like, that's not even where it started from. Like it just takes a little bit of research to see these things have like roots and completely other, like their origins of it are so completely different.
Yeah. No, I'm really curious to see. I don't know where they are in sort of making it. Because this image is not from the movie, right? That's in the article on Bloody Disgusting.
I don't think so.
No, picture is from Viking Wolf. I don't know what movie that is. Do you know that movie?
That is a Norwegian werewolf movie on Netflix.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard of it, so I don't know if it's good or not. But I'm curious why they put that in there. Maybe just because
well, probably because it's another one that's got lore that's not based off of.
That's not based off actual.
A Western version of it. Yeah, I mean it was okay. It couldn't keep my attention, but I look for very specific things in werewolf films, and this just didn't. It took too long. I'm like, I don't care. Just I want to see a werewolf tearing up people. I don't really care about all this other stuff. So, but if you like story and you want, like, if you're gonna watch a werewolf movie and you care about the story and the lore and stuff, you probably really, really like it. It was very well received. But I just wanted something different, I think.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But anyway, no, this sounds awesome. I love that this is going to be rooted in its its origin and not just something like, again, that we're just like, oh, just make this up and this is the new version. Like, I'm glad they're not doing that. So I'm excited to see this. I think this sounds awesome.
Me too. So next is a game that I'm very excited for, called Twisted Tower. It is an Atmos Games game. And it is sort of it's being described as like a BioShock meets Willy Wonka. You're part of, so you're kind of invited to battle up the tower of this like demented toy maker. And it's sort of like, has like this, because there is like a golden ticket element of it, right?
Yeah, it's a velvet ticket. It's like
a velvet ticket.
But there's like 10 of them or something. I forget how many he says, but yeah.
So there's like this velvet ticket thing, and you get access, and you battle up, and like the creatures are so cool. These kind of like demented toy.
So much potential.
It's so much potential. There's no date. It's a first person shooter, mixed with what looks like puzzle elements.
Puzzles, yeah.
So it's got a little bit of BioShock. It's got a little kind of that Resident Evil sort of vibe.
It's Yeah.
But it definitely has its own, it's not copying off it. It has its own aesthetic, its own feeling. The toy maker looks creepy. The random minions that you have to fight look great. It just looks fun. There's a lot of jumping around. It feels like it's a very fast-paced, sort of chaotic game.
Yeah.
But it's coming out sometime next year, so there's no set date on it. But there's just like a short trailer out there with a little bit of gameplay, a little bit of cinematic. What did you think?
Yeah, so it's so funny you added this to the roster for us to talk about, because I just took a screenshot of it and sent it to Addie like a couple of days before.
Really?
Because I was like, so we just played a puzzle game together, and it was really cool. And so I think it came up because I was trying to find more stuff like that we could play together.
Yeah.
And it's not a 2-player, I don't think, but it was one that came up, I think, because it's going to be a newer puzzle-y type game. But I didn't watch the trailer for it until you added it to the list to talk about it for this episode. And yeah, I mean, it screams BioShock aesthetically. Like you go into this and you're like, oh, I'm back in like Rapture. Like you just feel like it's, but once it feeling. Yeah, I mean, it the zoom in on some of the things. I mean, it definitely felt like that. But like you said, it's definitely not just it's not just a BioShock game. Like it just looks like BioShock, and there's scenes of it that are similar, but the gameplay does not look like BioShock at all. And it's yeah, I don't know. It just looks wild. I think when people make games, specifically horror games, and they make them about child-friendly things, there's just always so much potential. I mean, Five Nights at Freddy's started out as this like super small scale thing that guy Scott made, and about a kid's place, and then it blew up. Look at it. Yeah. Look at what happened. And this is similar because it's like a toy factory. Like who wouldn't want to go see? I mean, not in like today's time, but like, in general, like it just seems like such a cool premise. And then to know that inside of it is like this insanity created by this like messed up toy maker. I don't know. Like when it kept showing the, like, what were they, like bears or something? I don't even know what they were. These like weird looking, like possessed bears. They're like moving their arms.
They're like kind of tall and they're all kind of coming after them. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is going to be so fun. I'm excited about this. I don't know. Did it say what it was going to be released on?
I don't know. I thought definitely PC. I think I remember seeing I think you can wish list it.
On Steam, probably.
Let's see. Platform, yeah, computer, PC.
Okay.
Which is fine. As long as it doesn't burn out my computer. I'm trying not to have to upgrade my graphics card. We had to play it on Starfield. It's this new sci-fi game on Xbox because it was too sophisticated for my computer.
Oh no.
And it would just not run. I'm like, I want to spend like $1,000 on a new graphics card. So like we'll just do Xbox and that's fine. But I don't. Yeah, a lot of games, particularly indie games, don't run like these like AAA, where you need like the best of the best.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, my laptop can't. I probably won't be able to play it for a long time because I don't think my laptop will be able to run it. I mean, we'll see, but it's very limited. Like it's pretty.
Steam will tell you if your computer meets.
That's true. You're right. Yeah.
Steam will tell you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that brings us to our last story.
Yeah. So I have all kinds of opinions on this already. So we got some images for the first part of the new Strangers trilogy that we did not ask for. It's interesting, right? Strangers, the original Strangers from 2008, I think, set this really interesting standard for home invasion movies. And home invasion movies is like one of my favorite subgenres of horror because, I mean, man, like there's some good ones like Hush. I really loved that element of the first Purge movie. Like, I just think that home invasion is something that doesn't get done all the time, but it's so unsettling when it's done correctly. And the Strangers nailed that, It's like, oh, why is this happening to us? And it's the most iconic line. Well, because you were home, like simple, like it's so good. And there's so many scenes in this and in that one that were just so great. And then I think so. It's weird because they announced it. They're like, oh, we're going to do Strangers again, even though 2008 really was not that long ago. And not only are we going to do it again, but we're going to make it a trilogy. And not only that, we're going to like film them all at the same time so that they're all done at the same time. And I'm like, y'all are killing me with this. Like, I feel like it's I don't know. I'm so nervous these are going to suck. I'm so nervous these are going to suck. I mean, the premise is fine. We've seen this premise, you know, before. I mean, this is very, they go and stay in an, they have last minute decision. They have to stay somewhere. What is it, like an Airbnb or something like that. So they go stay, and then, you know, they're tormented by people in masks. I'm like, all right, cool. We've seen that a bunch of times. And they are very clear in this article that like, it's not going to be anything too unique from the original, but then like 2 and 3 are supposed to be new paths about the victims and why these things happen and what happens at, you know, and I don't know. I just don't know. I'm so convinced this is not going to be good. So the images themselves, I mean, it looks like a Strangers movie, right? The people coming out in the mask, I think looks fine. I'm sure it's gonna have the look of a great movie. Like I'm not worried about like quality in that regard, but I am so nervous about how fast they filmed and how fast they made the decision to make this a trilogy. I'm hoping it's going to be that them deciding to do it that way is just going to make it cohesive, not rushed. Because there's a difference.
This is, and I'm not going to go into spoilers because this was my one of my biggest gripes, I think, after processing The Exorcist. Is for The Exorcist, they knew they had a trilogy. So I feel like they did things a certain way because they knew they had a 2 and a 3, which is different from if you film them back to back, because they haven't filmed the second one yet.
Yeah.
And I feel like with how things are, I don't know if they are going to do it. Maybe not. So yeah. If they do 1, 2, 3 back to back, it's going to be very similar, because like that's how they did Lord of the Rings, was back to back to back.
Yep.
And that came out great. I feel like there's a few things that they've done back to back like that.
Yeah.
Fear Street back to back.
Fear Street was done back to back, and that's what I'm saying. Like I'm hoping it's going to just make it cohesive, not make it feel rushed, because that's my other concern with the FNAF movies is going to be a trilogy. Can we just make it makes me so nervous. Like I'm just like, I really want, because I'm scared that's what's going to happen, or what has happened is they have been so focused on the fact, like exactly like you said, that there's these other movies that then the one that they should be focusing on does not get the love that it needs for it to be worth making 2 more of. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I think the concepts that they've gotten on paper for 2 and 3, because we don't know very much else about those yet, I think sounds interesting to go a little bit kind of astray from like what was the second Strangers? I never saw it. The second,
I enjoyed it.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, it's got some beautiful set pieces. Like I think everyone talks about the pool scene. That's my favorite. It's just like great set pieces, great needle drops.
I'll have to watch it eventually. Maybe if it's streaming, I'll do it for one of my first watches for October.
Yeah, it's
because I've never seen it.
You know, they did Christina Hendricks a little dirty. I love her as an actress. She's from Joan from Mad Men, if anyone knows that. But yeah, I feel like they could have done a little more with her character in that movie. But other than that, I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I like this idea of maybe exploring the survivors of the home invasion. I feel like it's like, I mean, I like the idea of maybe, you know, I mean, the cliche would be what? Like the survivor goes through like a revenge storyline, right? Like, I feel like, you know, you have to avoid sort of the cliche pitfalls. But if you're going to do something similar, or at least make it different, if you can't avoid cliches, right? Because I mean, I guess how many ways can you go, right? You go the hunker down Laurie Strode 2018 route. You go the Sidney Prescott I'm a Fighter route. You go that, like, how many, like, there are only so many.
Yeah, you're right. But you can take those and hopefully add something to the pot that does make it at least some semblance of unique.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think so.
I mean, this will be one I won't pay to watch, but I'll watch it. Like when it comes out, I mean, it's not one that I'm gonna go out of my way to avoid. I think I really love the first one, but I think it's so hard to recapture things that have already been done. And it's not that it's impossible. We've seen it happen. It works sometimes, but the fact that they made it a trilogy and the fact that they filmed them the way they did just makes me so nervous. But you're absolutely right. There's plenty of movies that have been filmed that way that were really great, and it actually made them stronger and not weaker. So I'm gonna hold out hope, but I'm going in so pessimistic. I know, but like
I could see them maybe doing like playing on genre a little bit. Like maybe like the first one's where maybe like you get your classic home invasion story. And then the second one, maybe you do more of like maybe there's a kidnapping. Maybe there's, you know, like maybe they do other stuff. And maybe you get maybe a little more of like an FBI sort of investigation sort of story. Or like there's like other like I think there's ways you can really
I agree.
Spice it up.
I'm just so all of this, because all of these announcements about these movies being made in sets of 3s just gives me anxiety. Like
We're
it just
trilogies. We're
immediately I'm like, stop.
Just make one really good one,
and let's just see what happens.
People like to I think they I mean, like they just overshoot the franchise potential. You know, it's like you don't have to. You can just have a one-off good movie.
Yeah,
it's okay.
And it is, and it doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. This isn't one that I would have thought of. Oh, trilogy, you know. But we'll see. Yeah. I think that home invasion stuff is so scary. So I mean, I think, you know, there's a good chance this is going to be really good. I'll just have to hold out and see if 2 and 3 are able to deliver on like unique concepts added into some things, you know, that we've already seen before. But you know, we'll see. The images were fine. They didn't make me excited. You know, I was just like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it looks like a Stranger's movie. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely got the vibe, right? So
yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna watch them. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So I think that takes us to recommendations.
Yeah.
Do you want to kick us off?
I can, if you want to do yours last, since it's about.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm doing an I guess I'll call it an Instagram shout. So this is an Instagram that I follow. It's called That Film Dude Jake. Jake is a filmmaker that specifically focuses, so far, at least from the stuff that he's done that I'm aware of, found footage, indie horror films. So he did one called Wendigo, which Tom and I covered on Found Footage Fridays, literally the day that it came out. If you're not new here, you know, I have a lot of love for Wendigos. It even came up in this episode. So he does really like a lot of cryptid stuff. But he also does, he's been doing some courses and stuff on found footage, and he's like teaching them, and he's working on his next movie starting soon, which I'm going to be trying very hard to be a part of. I don't know yet exactly what yet, but definitely going to be working to try to be a part of it. He was also like super, super nice and reached out to me about going to the premiere of a cryptids film that's found footage that they have coming out in November. But he's a really nice guy. I really, really enjoyed the Wendigo movie that he did, and really like what he's doing in the genre. And so, you know, I just think he's somebody to pay attention to. So that's my shout out for this episode is That Film Dude Jake. You know, obviously his Instagram stuff will be in the description for this episode.
We'll put it in there for you.
Yeah. But he's just a really, really nice guy. And I'm so excited to be going to my first movie premiere, as long as I can make the travel stuff work.
Yeah.
It's not that far. It's in North Carolina, but it's going to be like a whole day thing because the premiere's at night. But anyway, but I'm very excited about being invited to one. I'm hoping I can still make it work and I can go, but it's just cool. And he's so open to like working with other people in the horror community. And anyway, so very nice guy. So if you're not following him and you like horror movies, That Film Dude Jake, go follow him on Instagram.
Go check him out.
Yeah.
So I'm on the downstairs. I'm in the downstairs of the house, and there are like crickets going wild.
I can hear them.
You hear them?
I can hear them.
Okay, that is insane. It is. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do about them.
I should have just, when it got to the Strangers thing, it could have just been like, so Angel, how do you feel about the new Strangers movies? And then like, I just don't say anything. And it's just like crickets.
They're wilding. They are wild. That must be, I think they're mating. I think that's what's happening. I think that's what's happening.
Well, you know.
Next door. Because we're in a split level or like a raised ranch or a split ranch or whatever. So like the lower level is like half in, half out of like the ground. Yeah. So like, I just think they're just right there, and they get in, and it's the whole thing. But anyway, it's distracting me. But it's good ambiance, I guess. So I am doing a deep tease for my friend Squall Charleson's book, Terror Valley. It is, as if you can probably tell from the cover, it is an homage to Goosebumps and like YA horror and just kind of that whole subgenre. So it's called School's Out for Never. And it's the first in a series. He's currently penning the second one. And we are actually having him on for an interview to be filmed really soon. So keep an eye out for that. But it's really fun. It's a cute story about a 5th grade boy who is reliving the last day of school on repeat and sort of the antics and horror and such that ensue as a result of that. Very nostalgic sort of read, very well crafted. I will say, I'm not just saying that because he's my friend. It is, I'll probably say this during the interview. I was like, the way that he plotted the continuity consistencies.
Oh my God, I know.
On each repeat, I'm like, that must have been so hard to keep track of.
I completely agree.
That was really fun. It's like for you know, just as a reader, and I was like, I can only imagine what it was like to plot it out. But it's a blast. The cover is so fun. I don't who is the artist for the cover? I don't know if it's in here. Marcello Biot. And then his wife edited. Lauren Charleston is the editor for the book, which is really cool. But yeah, so that School's Out for Never, Terror Valley #1. But he'll be on the channel, so keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, and I think it just came out yesterday.
It's out now. You can get it on Amazon.
You can get it on Amazon,
physical and digital, I believe.
Yep, and if you go follow him on Amazon, you can read the description for part 2, even though it's not out yet.
Yes, that is out there. That the part 2 is Bow to Your Sensei.
Yeah.
Right. That'll be interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Which brings us to the end of our episode.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's it for this episode of the Coffee Crypt. Man, October is in like full swing. I'm exhausted thinking about it. I don't know. What are you guys doing for October? Tell us what you're doing in the comments. Let us know if you have like traditions, fun things you're doing, if you're decorating, if you have movies you watch. Anybody else doing first watches? That seems to be a common thing. So I'm doing first watches for October. So
I'll have to find a handful to watch. I don't know if I can do one every day, but I can definitely get some.
It is a commitment.
Oh man.
The other night I got one in like right before midnight. I'm like, still
you did it. I maybe next year.
Yeah.
I'm already too late. It's already the 7th.
Commitment.
We're recording on the 7th. But this comes out on the 8th.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, cool. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us on this Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great week coming up. And Steve and I will see you real soon.
See you next time.